brain uses filters in order to identify what's important. Earlier, I asked you guys to identify everything that's black. So by giving you this instruction, I'm giving you a filter. So the filter makes you filter everything that's going on here and retain everything that's black. The filters are as unique as individuals. They depend on our values and beliefs. We'll go into more details later on the filters. But it depends on our values and beliefs, our education, our culture, upbringing, our past experiences, the decisions we made at one point in our life. And what the brain does is it creates an internal representation, which is actually an interpretation of the external event. This is what happens when you interview witnesses of a crime. You have as many testimonials, different testimonials, as there are witnesses because of the filters. They all witness the same scene, but they retain different things, and it gets filtered out. So it gets distorted. The information gets distorted. Is not the same. The representation, internal representation, is not the same thing as the external event. So our remembering of what happened or our experience of what happened is not what happened. And then based on our internal representation, the brain creates what we call an internal state or emotion. So if we have a good interpretation of what happened, we will feel a good emotion. If we don't have a good interpretation of what happened, we will not feel good. So for example, if my value is I need the work done on time, and I have an assistant that delivers work late to me, what do you think will be my reaction?
Stress.
Annoyed, yes. Because the interpretation of that event work done late is that it's not acceptable. If I didn't have this value, the work needs to be done on time, and she delivers work late, maybe I will be more understanding and not give her such a hard time. Do you see how the same event, work delivered late, based on your filters, based on your interpretation of the event, creates a different emotion.
So why would you be more understanding? I think that would be for a bit before. So you said you could be more in understanding.
Yeah. If I didn't have the belief that the work needs to be done on time, I may be more understanding. But if for me the work needs to be done on time and anything late is unacceptable, I will not be understanding. It's like, our relationship with time. There are some people that, time is time, right? And if you have people that arrive 5 minutes late, we all have different reaction to that, right? 5 minutes late, some people will be okay. Whereas others, because time is time, 5 minutes late, no, you're late. So it's the same event, just different reaction because of the filters. And because of your interpretation, you will feel a different emotion, and that emotion will determine your physiology and your action. What you see here,
Funky hat.
A helmet made out of lace.
how many faces you see?
Two.
Two?
There's one in the background.
One.
One?
The woman's face is there, and the man's face is on it.
Oh, no, I see two.
Yeah, now you see two because you mentioned two. You see same image? Some people see one, some people see two, some people see both.
The man's face is at the front, and the woman's face is behind.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Me too, I can't see.
So you see the face, the mask,
Yeah.
the two eyes, the nose.
Yeah, I see that one.
Now you see the couple kissing, that's the nose of the man and the lady is here.
Oh, I still can't see.
Yeah, me too, I still cannot.
Do you see the man?
I can't.
Oh,
From the side.
no,
I
no, I
can't
got
see
it.
I know, I just did that same thing. From the
going to see it.
Okay,
Something
this is the
my
man,
brain
this is
is
his
not
nose,
doing that.
and his
Because
eyes,
he's,
and the mouth, and he's
liking
from the side.
the side, yes.
Oh,
not-
yes.
Yeah, now you see it.
Yeah.
It took a while.
Me too.
Yeah.
But since you see it, you cannot
Yeah, you cannot unsee it,
unsee
right?
it.
And
yeah.
that's exactly right. Natalia has a good point because once you have awareness, you cannot not see it anymore.
Yeah.
So once you have awareness, you are more and more aware of yourself. You cannot close your eyes anymore and pretend not to see it. What do you see here?
The front of him and the side of him.
Yeah.
Same person, but just different sides of the face.
Yeah.
It's quite clever.
Yeah, that is clever.
Is the dancer rotation clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clock. Clock.
Who said clockwise?
Right now I see it as back the other way.
And counterclockwise?
I can see both.
You can see both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
can't see the other one. How weird.
now
Ah.
only look at the image in the middle. And I actually have a piece of paper to hide it.
Oh,
So look at the image in the middle.
Weird.
Yeah.
So you see her rotating
Yeah,
one
both sides, yeah.
one side, right? And now you see the rotation on the other side.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you see, it's really how we look at things that
No,
determines
no,
what
no,
we see.
no.
I don't know.
So our filters, are they based on our beliefs and values?
Mhm. Yes, I will go into more details on the filters. So, to recap what I just said, the external events gets filtered out because our brain is not able to manage all this information. It uses filters to determine what is important, and it creates an internal representation, which is an interpretation of what happened. And based on the interpretation, it will create an emotion.
So can I just relate to that image? When I looked at that image, I said it was clockwise. When I saw that it was also going anti-clockwise, my brain said, I don't believe it. And I still think it's clockwise. Even though I can see it, and I went, no, that's the right one.
So what do you say to your brain?
So I don't, so you know what I mean? In my filter there, it's going, don't believe it. That's the truth.
That's interesting because a lot of people also say, you know, when they see something, they say it's the truth.
Yeah.
And conflicts arise because we confront different truths and we think that our truth is the ultimate truth.
And I was telling my rational mind, I was saying, no, it's both.
Yeah.
But he was going, no. It's interesting.
Yes, because when people do that is when there are conflicts. People insisting that their truth is the truth.
It's true.
When in reality you see that because of the filters, there isn't one truth, there is your truth.
There's three truths: your truth, their truth, and the truth.
Or no true.
Your truth.
So what are those filters? So we categorize those filters into three main categories. The first one is deletion. So the brain will delete information. The second one is distortion. The brain will reorganize information or create links and association with what you already have in your brain. For example, if I was in a relationship with a blonde man, blue eyes, that was abusive toward me, next time, and I haven't dealt with this, next time I meet a blonde guy with blue eyes, guess what my brain will do? Associate my past experience with this new person that I just met, without knowing anything about him. My brain will project things onto him based on my past experience. So that's distortion. And generalization is when the brain eliminates exception. So you will identify that when people use always, never. You're always late. You never do the dishes. Because something happened once, twice, People generalize it.
Husband and wife and stuff like that.
Yeah, it shows up a lot in couple relationship. Always and never. So it's the brain generalizing. So taking one event and making it a generalization. And what happens is that when you hear that, you never do this or you always do that, well, the other person gets defensive because in
Yes.
his or her reality, that's not true. I've done it at least once. I've done the dishes at least once.
Yeah.
So sorry, are we hardwired to do this then? Is that
Yes,
the same?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a thing where I was in a meeting for 5 days, and this person annoyed me every day got worse and worse. And I said, no, you're really getting on my nerves. I'm sure everyone agrees. And they went, no. And then I had to really think about it, and she reminded me of my sister. My sister was in that room.
There we go. Thank you for this example. It's exactly that. When someone annoys you and you don't know the person, chances are it's a projection. She reminds you of someone in your life, and the brain creates distortion. So it takes that person that reminds you of your sister, and it projects everything that you feel about your sister onto that person.
And I said, oh, you agree with that?
But at least you have the awareness.
Yes.
But why are we hardwired? It's like really unhelpful.
Well, it is. It was designed that way because it's helpful. Otherwise, the brain wouldn't be designed that way. So it's helpful because it's helping us filter out the information.
I get, but the other two.
It helps us create a simplified model of our reality. Because otherwise, our brain will not be able to take all this information. So it needs some sort of filters to select what information is important to us and what information isn't. Like for example, when I was looking for an office, all of a sudden I kept saying, like office to like everywhere. But does that mean that they weren't before? Of course they were, but because it wasn't important to my reality, I didn't see them. So it does that to help us not go into
It's something to do with our survival instincts. or something.
Yeah.
So do animals have this, do you think? Do animals have that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to answer that. That's not my expertise there.
Are those the only three things that horses do?
The filters, yes. So imagine that those are the type of glasses, and then your glasses have shades. So the shades of glasses depends on this.